Hi, I'm Elise Buckite, District Planner for the Mid-Missouri Solid Waste Management District. I'm here to talk about how to do a grant amendment for your project. Let's dive right in. There are three keys that you need to think about, and we'll go into depth on them as we go through this. The first is that your financial assistance agreement is a binding agreement between you, your organization, and the district. The district will only reimburse you for funds expended within the scope of an approved FAA. So whether that is your original or your amended FAA. This is not a block grant agreement. You are contracting for a specific budget. Finally, you must communicate with staff promptly to make changes to your project. All right, let's take a little closer look. So first, what are your contractual obligations? Maybe you can pull back out that FAA that you have in a drawer somewhere or on your computer. These are taken directly from that agreement that you signed. So the district will only reimburse for expenses made during the project period and after the FAA is fully executed by both parties. So if you're spending money that is not in your FAA, we will not reimburse you for it. Any potential changes to the project period, budget, or scope of work will be sent to the district planner and may be subject to executive board approval, Department of Natural Resources approval, or denial. And the grantee will follow the work plan to the extent possible. These are things you've already agreed to as a grantee with the district. So how are changes approved? For project extensions, reallocations from within existing line items of more than 10% your award amount, and changes to budget line items all require approval by the executive board. This also includes if you need to request additional funds for your budget. That is something you can do as well, but it requires approval by the executive board. If approval is granted, an amended FAA must be executed before you make those expenditures. So always make sure that what you have signed is what you have to follow. And for reallocation within existing funds, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, if it's less than 10%, so your grant amount maybe is $10,000, you need to move $1,000 from one line item to another because your expenses have changed. I am able to approve that at the district planner level as long as we communicate about it. When do I need to request a change? As soon as you know that something is going to be changing about your project, you should reach out to staff, either myself or Ramon Garza. As soon as you know, you can contact us. That way we can make sure that you're following all the steps appropriately. In most cases, we do need to present these amendments to our executive board, and they only meet monthly. So the sooner you can get it to us, the sooner we can make sure that that is getting reviewed by them. So as soon as you can, you want to send staff your completed amendment forms in order to get that proposed amendment on the agenda. We'll go over those forms in a minute, but they are found at our website, mmswmd.org. So now we're over on the MMSWMD website, and we're going to go and navigate to where the forms are located. Here under grants and sponsorships, you'll find grantee reporting. And that's where we've got all our videos, all our forms, all the information you need. So we're going to run down to amendment request forms. And we have two different documents here. The first is the amendment request PDF form. No matter what you're changing on your project, you will be filling this out. Then you have the budget amendment spreadsheet. This is only necessary if you are making changes to the finances in your budget. So if you are just requesting an extension, you won't need to do that one. All right. When you download that PDF form, this is what it will look like. So we have just a few simple questions here. And at the top, you're going to fill in your grant name and grant number and type the type of amendment. So are you doing a budget change, a budget increase, or an end date extension? And you may be doing two of these. So you may put that down there. So we're going to walk through this by using an existing active grant. All right, so this is with the River Relief organization. So we're going to put River Relief in there, and it is grant number H2024-011. And let's just say that they're going to be doing a budget change and an end date extension. So next we need to indicate what the award amount totals are, not including match. And we're going to go over, check out that budget. So the award amount is that $89,000. $467. All right, and we're not requesting an increase here, so the requested award amount is going to be exactly the same for the budget amendment here. We are just going to be moving money within some categories. All right, and let's say they need an extension as well. So our current project period ends 6/30/2026, and let's say we need an extra 6 months. So we're going to say 12/31/2026. All right, let's take a look down here at their budget. So we were buying some boats, buying some motors, getting them delivered. So let's make up a reason for that budget amendment. We could say that maybe the motor cost was lower than anticipated because we were able to find the motor used. We do need additional funds for the delivery as hauling costs have gone up since our application. That's something pretty common that we experience a lot. You're getting some quotes ahead of time about how much this equipment will cost, how much the services will cost. By the time you actually get ready to make the purchase, after the whole application process has gone through and you've been approved, then you have to go through your own procurement process. It could be that the equipment might be less than expected, or it could be more. You also may find out that the vendor that you had gotten a quote from is no longer operating in your area. Or maybe there's a new vendor who's offering a better deal, and so you want to be able to add on additional equipment somewhere else. This is very common, and it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the management of your project. And this is about the amount of detail we need for something like this. Now, if you're adding money to the budget, you're going to need to justify that a lot more, explaining why the cost has gone up and why you believe additional funds should be given to you. But really, you should be able to put everything you need in this small box here. All right, and then let's say a reason for the extension request is that it has taken longer than expected to receive the boats, and now we need to do some work on them before we can begin the collection efforts. Again, 1 to 2 sentences is usually going to be about as much as you need there. Now this, again, works if you're just requesting extra time or if you need a budget amendment, something with the money. So if you only need one of those, you only fill out that question. And if you're doing both, you fill out both. So that's the first form that you found on the website, and now we'll turn over to the other. And so now we're looking at that other form, and this is an Excel document that will explain how you are moving those funds around. We discovered that it was getting to be a little difficult to track exactly where money was moving on some of these requests. So we are asking you to make it really, really clear for us. So again, we've got this approved grant from River Relief, and we're going to just continue pretending that we are River Relief and we need to move some money around. So I mentioned in my budget amendment form that the Yamaha 225 horsepower motor, we found a better deal for it. So that one is going to be on our list. And then we also know that our delivery costs are different. So you see here that I am copying exactly what is in my FAA. So those line items is really helpful if what you put in your request matches up exactly with what's in the FAA. That way we make sure that we correctly make that change that you're requesting. So boat, motor, and trailer delivery. All right, so we're going to put in this column B, the current FAA budget. So for the motor, that was $25,500. And we realized that we could get it for $22,000, saved 20 or $3,500 there. So then we realized that it was going to cost us extra for the delivery. So our current budget for that is 1,256, and we are going to assume that it's the same increase there. Now, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you just want to decrease. Maybe that would lower the burden on your match amount, which you could also amend down below. But a lot of times we're just moving money within categories. So, got to do some quick math here. Let's see, 47.56. All right. So we have now effectively moved 3,500 away from the Yamaha motor and to the boat, motor, and trailer delivery. So that means our amendment change doesn't increase how much we're requesting at all. It just moves that money within the areas. So once you have that completed, you'll save both of those forms, the Excel form if you're doing a change with the funds, and also the PDF form, which you will have regardless of whether you're changing budget or just extending. To close us out, we'll just run over those three keys again now that we have had a chance to look through all the process. The first is that your financial assistance agreement is a binding agreement. You should definitely be looking at it regularly, making sure that the funds you're spending align with what is in your budget, and letting us know if you need a change to that agreement. Next, the district will only reimburse you for funds expended within the scope of your FAA. So as I just said, but it can't be said often enough, we can only reimburse you for what is in your approved FAA. After you get your amendment done, we will execute an amended FAA, and then you are free to spend as you need to for the rest of your project. And then that last key is to communicate with staff promptly. That way we can let you know perhaps what you're wanting to do is something that we can approve at the staff level. Or perhaps there's some flexibility or some creativity that we know about from our experience that might mean that you don't need an amendment, or we can just help you make that justification. That way we can present it to the executive board to make sure that your project has the best chance of succeeding. Thanks so much for joining.